Because Chris and I believe that if you lose 3 games, you lose the right to be a part of the playoff. I hear you. I get it. I totally understand.
They were still trying to throw the ball last week. There was Michigan fans online calling Samaj Morgan a terrorist because they kept throwing him the football and he kept fumbling it.
Milk them. Pause. For they're going to get ahead and they're just going to slow the game down. And it's not going to look like everybody knows that when it comes to that hate, I'm filled with it.
I'm Chris, that's Tyler. Welcome to the Week 7 preview show where we break things down, give Tyler's picks, go through it, what to expect, what not to expect. This is honestly, I think, my second favorite show of the week that we do. Obviously, the post-game show comes out on Sunday. Without further ado, though, Ohio State, Illinois is the big one. Good old sleepy Champaign, dog. An Illinois team that I think is better than people realize. Brett Bielema and company, Lou Altmaier and company, a team that really has the bad blemish, but they're definitely better than they were on that day. Tyler, initial thoughts going into Ohio State versus Illinois?
Is champagne the worst form of alcohol there is?
Yeah. People don't actually like the taste of champagne. They just like that it's synonymous with celebration.
Agreed. No, I think there's a theme this week with the big games, and what it is a smaller, a tier 2, tier 3 program that's having a good season and having to try to establish themselves and punching up a weight class.
Ooh, I like that. This is punch-up weekend.
Punch-up weekend. So Illinois is playing Ohio State, Missouri is playing Bama, and Indiana is playing Oregon. Indiana, Missouri, and Illinois are all trying to punch up a weight class and establish themselves as like a real contender.
Yeah.
And when it comes to the Ohio State-Illinois game, I think Brett Bielema is a very good coach.
Very good.
I think Illinois has a legitimate program. I'm concerned with how sleepy that Champaign, Illinois is. I think the stadium sucks. I think that this game being played at 11 a.m. local time is a weird thing. However, the line is 14.5 points, which is a lot of points. But my question is, do you believe that Illinois can score 2 touchdowns against Ohio State's defense?
I do not, and that was where I was going to go. This Ohio State team is on pace to hold opponents to an average of under 10 points a game. Tyler, can you tell me when the last time that had been done was?
Under 10 points a game?
For the regular season.
I'm going to say almost 100 years ago.
No, it should have been, but 2011 Alabama did it, and we know that defense was full of literally everybody.
Yeah.
So, that's how good this defense is, though, is what I'm trying to say.
Was Indiana Illinois in the same weight class, you would say?
They are in the same weight class. In the standpoint of like what they are talent wise, the weight class difference is where they're at outside.
Correct. The thing that I'm concerned about for Illinois, if I was an Illinois fan, this is a very traditional offense. And that plays in the favor of Ohio State.
Bingo.
Matt Patricia knows exactly where Luke Altmaier is going to be when he snaps the ball. He knows where he's going to go. He knows what he's going to do. And the other thing is Luke Altmaier has been sacked 19 times already.
Yeah. Well, they run a true drop back 1, 2, 3, 4. Let me go through my progressions. And that's like unique to college football because most college football quarterbacks, it's like the quick read, go. They ask him to really just drop back.
Yeah. My other thought is Ryan Day and Brian Hartline are going to sit down. They're going to watch the film of the Indiana game, and they're going to watch the film of the USC game. And they're going to figure out what did Indiana do well and what did USC do poorly and kind of mirror it and take the good and the bad from those games, and that's exactly what they're going to do. Because the way I think that Ohio State's offense is trending towards going back to the C.J. Stroud years where they just threw the ball over the joint. I think we're getting closer to that point.
And they let it slip last week that Brian Hartline was calling the plays without the ask Ryan chart.
Correct. So as explosive as Indiana is on the outside, these Illinois corners are about to see two dudes that they will. These are the two best wide receivers that these Illinois defensive backs will ever see
in their entire life.
in their life. Because they're gonna go and they're gonna go be accountants or they're gonna go be whatever, and they're like, "Yeah, I had to guard Jeremiah Smith."
Yeah, that's gonna be exciting though for a moment in time.
That's super disrespectful. I'm sure that they'll probably get a
No,
cut.
it's funny because Illinois does produce like some combine warriors and NFL players every year, so we're just talking shit.
Yeah, I think Illinois is a good team, but like they're not capable. And I don't think one of these games coming up for Ohio State before they play Michigan is going to be their oh shit, that was ugly game.
Yeah,
this isn't going to be that game because they have Ryan Day's attention. Illinois has our attention.
They do. I wouldn't be surprised though to see like on Illinois scripted drive for them to look good, the same way Fleck and them look good on drive one. Like drive one last game, Minnesota had 66 yards, and then they went on to have 60 yards the rest of the day. I think
Correct.
Illinois and Brett Bielema could do something like that. I also am like sitting here thinking, okay, this could be the first transitive property reaction game we'll see.
And like
I think Ohio State's going to win this game pretty convincingly. I think that people are going to look and be like, well, they didn't beat them as bad as Indiana did. So is Indiana for real? Is Ohio State overrated? I think that's kind of the next spin that's going to happen.
Sure.
Because they're not going to go belt to ass. But and here's why they're not going to go belt to ass. Because that's not Ryan Day's style. He doesn't have to go belt to ass and beat a team 50 to whatever for it to be a statement. Cignetti does. So Cignetti will run up the score and kind of keep the foot on the gas.
Correct. I mean, Illinois is giving up 387 yards per game.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of yards.
That is a lot of yards.
Bottom third of the Big Ten. And unfortunately, the Ohio State offense is getting better and better and better. But you're right. They're not going to. I had to score Ohio State 30, Illinois 10.
I don't think Illinois gets to 10. I think there's a real concerted effort to make sure that they have a historic defense this year. And I think that is another way that Ryan Day is petty. I think having a historic defense is part of the petty universe of Ryan Day.
Well, I'm just trying to be a little bit respectful when I give this my score.
That's fair. Give him 9 points. That'd be what? I mean, I guess how many did Texas score?
7. They haven't given up 10 points this year.
So 9 is not disrespectful. It's actually super respectful. 3 field goals?
I think it's just going to be one of those games where they're going to milk them. Pause. For like they're going to get ahead and they're just going to slow the game down. And it's not going to look like that was a really poor.
That was great. That was crazy. I'm a pros pro, and I'm trying to continue suffocate them, strangle them.
I don't know why I said that, bro. I don't know why I said that. Maybe because I got a 6-month-old and still feeding.
Just let's go. Anyway, back to Illinois.
Super pause.
Super duper.
No, I just it's just gonna look. It's gonna feel like Minnesota, but just not as. I don't think we're gonna score as much because I think Illinois still has like players. They're still a good team.
No, they're a good football team, and honestly, they're probably the 4th best team in the Big Ten, 5th maybe,
somewhere in there.
Big Ten's a really good league. Here we go. I think Illinois is better than Vandy.
Yeah. Side note. I was thinking about this today because, you hear like people talk about the SEC. The top end of the Big Ten is so much better than the top end of the SEC. It's really not even remotely close.
Better, dude.
However, the middle, I do think the SEC has a little bit more depth. Like they're all like jumbled together. I think that.
Not. No, you're wrong.
Not depth isn't the right word. There's just a bunch of good. There's more good teams.
You know what they have in there? Mediocre name brand teams. The Big Ten has mediocre non-name brand teams. That's all it is. Because if you look at that middle group in the SEC, like you're talking about.
I'm not talking about the teams like that are ranked 24. Whoever's ranked 24th, 25th.
Okay, well, I'm just saying, like here, like you just have to believe in a pretender or contender, like Florida, South Carolina, Texas, Arkansas, Mississippi State, Auburn.
Yeah, not contenders.
Yeah,
but like there's a legitimate path for like 8 SEC teams to like not they won't all make the playoff, but like they all still have a chance, right?
yeah.
Maybe that's a byproduct of the league, but like there's not 8 teams in the Big Ten that can make it like that are gonna.
Well, that's because we're gonna cannibalize more teams because we have an extra conference game.
That's fine. I was just trying to be,
I'm not being nice to them, dog, because South Carolina got beat by Illinois last year in the bowl game where everybody played.
The top end is better.
That's not top end. That's middle.
I think Illinois is top end.
Huh?
How many teams are in the Big Ten? We got what, 16?
Dog, the SEC and Big Ten both had the same amount of teams make the playoffs last year, and the best team that missed the playoffs from both leagues played each other. That's the second tier.
How many teams are in the Big Ten? How many teams are in the Big Ten?
I don't
16?
know.
I think it's 16. I would say Illinois is in the top third.
There's 18 teams in the Big Ten.
Yeah, so I think they're in the top third.
I guess like but Tyler, like how did you open the show? Talking about teams that are punching up. So it's like they're not in like the top level of the Big Ten. They're in the middle tier.
Well, I'm saying this year they're in the top third of the Big Ten this year.
Yeah, but they're still punching up because they're not in that top tier.
Correct. They're not. Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Fine. Well, I'll listen. I'm a Chris Drew guy, so if it's fuck the SEC, if all the homies hate the SEC, I'll hate the SEC.
I don't know if all your homies do, but the most important one on this screen right now does.
Hey, I'm a rider.
Yeah. Do you think they'll cover?
Yeah. I said 30-10, 20.
Yeah, I was just double checking because I want to use that cover. The next line.
Do you want to see anything? What's the next thing you want to see? The next box you want to see checked?
I need an Arvell Reese defensive touchdown so I can lead the train on the Arvell for Heisman campaign.
I could go for like a pick six or a scoop and score.
Yeah.
I'm something.
And I'm greedy. So like I want it to be my favorite player, Arvell.
Yeah. I want to see I got nothing. Just keep fucking beating the shit out.
Just keep going belt to ass on everybody.
Suffocating everybody. See, I learned suffocating everybody you face and keep letting what's funny is like all the nationals like, oh, Texas is gonna beat Ohio State. Well, then Ohio State beats Texas and then Texas isn't even good. Mm-hmm. Washington's gonna upset Ohio State, and then we beat their ass, and it's like, oh, they haven't beat anybody. Whatever. I'll see everybody in December, and we'll take all comers, and it's fine.
What Tyler's meaning to say is, when we see you this winter, don't run.
Yes, don't run.
Don't run.
Send your best.
Mm-hmm. And send them with steroids. Missouri, Bama. I like Missouri. To me, has the thing that I've seen present Alabama with problems. A mobile quarterback that's not afraid to chuck that motherfucker, man. Missouri has belief. I believe in Drinkowitz. He doesn't call plays. I'm hesitant to pick them to win the game because Missouri's not really battle tested, but Missouri's a good squad with a former Big Ten quarterback, and I'm interested. In fact, of all the teams that are punching up this week, I think they've got the best chance to win. Thoughts?
I agree. The couple of questions I have about Bama is like, can they keep winning without being on the run the ball at all?
Yeah.
Can they keep getting away with that? I think Ty Simpson is top end is better than Bo Perbulo. Mm-hmm. Like if they both play their A game, Ty Simpson's better.
Bingo.
But my real question is like, does this Alabama team feel like the Michael Penix Washington team?
It does have that kind of feel to it, but I think they've got less pop on offense, which is weird to say.
Yeah, but their defense is better.
Their defense is better, but they've got less pop.
Yeah, so I feel like Caleb DeBoer knows how to win with this type of team,
Mm-hmm.
and he has a better defense to help, which is why I think I'm picking Alabama to win. I don't really feel great about it. I think Columbia, Missouri is going to be very hostile. I think they're waiting. This is the game that they've been waiting for.
Mm-hmm.
Pope Beulah is playing really well, and you're right, he is a problem for Alabama. I do think I have Bama 31, Missouri 23. But I feel like it's going to be like a 24-23 and Alabama goes on and scores to pull it away type of deal. Like
I
it's a
think
it's a good game.
yeah, a fun game, as I think we
Yeah.
were going for. This is going to feel like a really fun game, and it's going to feel weirder than I think. I guess like most SEC games are. I mean, it does. It definitely feels really weird whenever like an Alabama team is like kind of involved in a shootout, and I think this could end up like, getting to some shootout territory.
Maybe. I think I'm also maybe trying to push my narrative that Ty Simpson is the sleeper Heisman because he's going to have the most Heisman moment opportunities.
Yeah.
I think Alabama. I do feel like the Florida State game is a bit of an aberration, and they're playing more like who I thought they would be.
I think they thought that game was going to be just one if they showed up.
Yeah,
It felt like a really uninspired performance given how we've seen Alabama play since then.
correct. I just feel like Alabama is starting to find out. They're
Who
starting to
they
figure
are.
out who they are and how they are going to win games. I think Kalen DeBoer is a good enough coach to realize that, and he's kind of found out how he wants to do it and they're doing them what they're most comfortable with is just putting the ball in the quarterback's hands.
I think he's going to cruise the quarterback one in this draft.
He might. I mean, he's definitely winning. He's definitely figuring out how to make his team. And I think, my hot take was that Georgia was going to fall off this year and Alabama was going to like rise to who they were before.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't feel good about it because I definitely think Missouri can win this game. Absolutely. 100% Missouri can win this game.
I
And
always
it
get
wouldn't
nervous
shock
about
me at all if they win this game.
I think just runaround quarterbacks just present so many problems to like teams that that have not shown as much life as you would have liked on defense.
Yeah, I mean Alabama played good defense against Georgia.
Yeah.
Good enough defense against Georgia. I don't know what that was against Florida State. I think that's the problem that the hesitation people have with Alabama because like that game is on tape. Like we saw that game. And it's like that's in there. Like that performance is in there and we don't know how to like can that show itself or is that dead and gone? What is it?
Well, it's like sifting through the black eye that is college football, right?
Yeah.
Like, what do you do about the Indiana-Illinois game? Like, what do you do about Florida State versus Alabama? Like, how do you compartmentalize those games? Even like UCLA, Penn State. Like, how do you compartmentalize that?
Yeah.
Is it an acknowledgement? Okay, at my very worst, I'm capable of losing to this team, and my very worst is in there. Is it I'm not always motivated, or is it there's so much talent being spread around that on any given Saturday you can lose? And like that's like the weird distinction, I guess.
Yeah. And I think that's kind of where Ohio State
Has the highest floor and the highest ceiling. That's what makes them so cool this year.
I think Ohio State is definitely in the situation where like their C game is still better than 90% of college football's A game because they are
100%.
so talented.
That's how dynasties are built, right? Like my C minus game can beat a lot of teams B plus to A minus game.
Yeah.
Like
But
for Ohio State to
I don't
lose,
know if Alabama's in that situation now.
they're not, and that's what makes this game harder to call.
Correct. Who do you got?
I have Alabama, but I could be talked into by the time this episode releases into picking Missouri.
Give me a score?
I am kind of similar to you. I think it could be 31-38 Alabama.
So would you take Missouri to cover and still lose?
I would absolutely consider it. Yes.
Okay. Not that I'm holding you. I'm taking Bama to cover, like a late cover.
Late cover.
Yeah. But we're definitely fixing to find out.
Yeah.
That's for shit sure. I mean, there are going to be teams that are eliminated this weekend.
Bingo.
100%. I think we'll talk about, one team that might get eliminated is here shortly. But there are some teams that are absolutely going to get eliminated
Mm-hmm.
in the next couple weeks. And a lot of it's going to be the SEC schools because they're all so close together. I don't see, I think Illinois gets eliminated, unfortunately, this weekend for them.
I don't think they're eliminated this weekend.
Well, I don't think a 10-2 Illinois team gets in.
Okay. I do.
I don't think they do. Especially considering that Indiana is probably going to be a 10-2 football team. There's a chance. Think about it. If Indiana and Illinois are both 10-2, who gets in?
Both.
No.
Why?
Illinois, you can't put them both in.
Why can't you?
I don't think because I think there's going to be a lot of 10-2 teams, and
you got to think about it. Like now, Penn State's out of the equation.
Well, technically, Penn State has a chance.
Yeah, but they're not going to go 10-2. So
they're not.
You're replacing one 10-2 potential with another one.
Well, what happens if Indiana loses to Oregon and then Penn State beats Indiana? Can you send Indiana to the playoff? I don't think you can because that Penn State loss will be bad.
If what happens?
If Indiana has at Oregon and then home against Penn State. I think they have to split one of those two games.
Yeah, I'd agree.
But what happens if Penn State beats Indiana?
Then we have a mess on our hands, and I gotta lie. I gotta go out there and lie.
But then you can't put in Indiana and Illinois because Indiana put Illinois on inappropriate websites.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think you can do that.
Yeah, I don't know. I think
because there's going to be a scenario.
Okay, well, how many Big Ten teams do you think are getting in? I guess is the question.
I think they're for sure getting 3. I'm stamping, take it to the bank, write it in pen, etch it in stone. They're getting 3.
Okay.
The question's going to be, I think the SEC is going to get 4. I think the key is, let's say Georgia Tech is 11-1 entering the ACC title game and they lose. And they're 11-2. Well, they're getting in. Right?
Yeah.
They're going to get in. So that's 2 ACC teams. And then you'll have the group of 5. So there's 7. There's 10. And then you got to have the fourth Big Ten team versus the loser of the Big 12 championship game.
So here's the thing, dog. Last year,
that could be a 3-4 loss team in the Big 12. So this could all be null and void.
Well, let's talk about it. Last year, the Big Ten got 4 teams in, and 2 ACC teams made it.
I understand, but only 1 Big 12 team made it.
Yeah, and I think that only 1 Big 12 team is going to make it this year too.
But what happens if Texas Tech is undefeated and BYU is 11-1?
I think it's very unlikely.
I'm saying that's why I'm saying, but it could happen. And I'm saying I'm stamping 3.
I think if it happens, the casualty will be Notre Dame.
Well, that's the other thing.
Yeah, they're the casualty.
Listen, if the Big Ten has, because the reason why the Big 12 had 4 is there was, in the regular season, there was a 12-0, 2 11-1s, and a 10-2. And the 10-2 team was Ohio State. They were getting in no matter what.
Yeah.
Right? So that's the perfect storm. Undefeated, 2 11-1s, and a 10-2. If Notre Dame goes 10, let's just say, for instance, Indiana goes what you really, as a Big Ten, Chris, you want Indiana to beat Penn State.
Correct.
That way you have Oregon, you have Ohio State, you have Indiana. Locks for the playoff.
Yeah, they're locked.
Then when it comes down to is you have Illinois at 10-2 versus a Notre Dame 10-2 and the loser of the Big 12 championship game.
Well, and I'm not ruling out Michigan.
Well, that could happen too.
I think the winner of Michigan-Washington has a real good shot to get in.
Yeah. What you're gonna have is you're gonna have 5 teams for like 2 spots.
Yeah. No, I'm saying I think,
and in my opinion, Illinois is on the outside looking in because I just can't feel good about putting a team in that lost by 53 points.
Yeah, no, Illinois is not getting in.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. Even at 10-2, I don't know if Illinois gets in. Because you're going to have traffic for 2 spots.
Yeah, a lot of traffic and some issues with the optics of that loss.
Correct.
I do want to talk about the Indiana game though. Indiana, Oregon, -6.5. Indiana and Oregon, or is it just Indiana coming off a bye week playing Oregon?
Yeah.
Double bide up. Were we double bide?
I think they're double bide up. They both have byes.
Double bide up. Teams have struggled when they've traveled. But here we go, man. This is the real test for Sig. He's been a blowout specialist. This Indiana team looks better than last year's Indiana team. To me, this feels like this would be an absolute miracle. And the question is, can he do it? -6.5.
That was the question I have. Is like this feels like the Indiana Ohio State game last year, except Indiana has a better quarterback.
Yeah, and I really trust their skill. Yes, to both of those.
So this is the last scenario where the small tier 2, tier 3 program is punching up.
Yeah.
And can they punch up? And the issue I have is I think there's a few things working against Indiana. Because they absolutely match up talent. I think they actually can compete talent-wise.
They're much closer in talent than people realize because they have IQ on their helmet. Like Indiana is extremely talented. They got a true freshman running back that's really, really good. Their quarterback, I think, is going to be in contention for quarterback 1 this year. And they got 3 receivers that can create separation. They're kind of twitch monsters a little bit. So like this Indiana group on offense can do it. And obviously to score 50 or 60 against the top 10 team, you got to be able to do it. So I think they're a lot better than people realize.
But the travel,
yeah.
The stadium that they're going to go play in.
Yep, loud.
The size on the offensive line. I know that Indiana did well against the size of Illinois' offensive line, even though, but the talent on Oregon's offensive line is just better.
Yeah, I mean, they've got a first rounder, a top 10
bigger and faster.
Yeah, they've got top 10. I mean, they are built like a powerhouse.
Can Kurt Cignetti out scheme what Dan Lanning is going to do as far as motivating his own team? Because Cignetti is a better schemer than Dan Lanning.
Yeah.
When it comes to game plan, I'm taking Kurt Cignetti 8 times out of 7.
Yeah, well, and that's Sig and Shanahan. I want to give him flowers because
however, who's going to be better? What they do is Dan Lanning be motivate his team better, or is he going to who's going to be better? Versus, and I don't know, man. It's tough because I
don't love putting a ton of credence in the motivation thing, but it definitely exists.
I think Dan Lanning can create a narrative that's worth a point to 3 points.
And Sig has done the thing where he's not given anything.
He hasn't said a word.
He said Dan's one of the great young coaching phenoms in this sport.
Yeah.
There's no clips of Oregon sucks. There's no clips of Dan Lanning sucks.
Well, do you think he learned his lesson because he was talking crazy about Ohio State last year?
I think he understands that Dan Lanning is the one coach that will not only acknowledge it, but be very public with it and then film him telling his team about it and letting them get fired up. I think he didn't want that clip. Because he said it. It's not for anybody on the outside. It's for people on the inside. But that if you say something about Oregon, I don't know if you know what Oregon's social media or media team does. They do a mini movie every week. And so they collect what other players and other teams have said about them, and they will give it to Dan Lanning, and Dan Lanning will read it to his team on camera. and it ends up being like a really chilling thing. It's like a great tradition, and I think that Cignetti is conscious of that, and like, you know what, I'm not gonna take that risk.
Yeah, I just don't know. I think going out west is a big problem for Indy. This is not the trip. I think I'd honestly would consider picking Indiana if this game was in Bloomington, Indiana.
Okay, not out there though. Hey, Mendoza, he's played a cow.
I got Oregon 34, Indiana 24.
Okay, I think it could get uglier than that, and I'm really hoping I'm wrong.
You don't want it to get ugly for your Big Ten narrative. You don't want that.
But I think Dan Lanning will send a clear message.
I feel like Dante Moore is going to have the worst case scenario for Indiana is Dante Moore sitting back there and having all day,
and tossing his name in the hat for quarterback one.
Yeah, and that's not that I don't think Oregon's defense is great by any stretch, but I just feel like they can match up athlete for athlete with Indiana, and that's going to be
I think they create chaos and confusion. Sometimes they allow some big plays, but I think they'll hit you with a lot of negative.
Yeah,
plays.
but I think Mendoza is old enough to he can deal with it.
Yeah, that's fair.
I just don't know. I could definitely see Oregon turning this into a very slowing this game down, which is kind of not what they want to do. Their MO, but that works against because Indiana wants to go fast.
Mm-hmm.
If you slow it down, it gets them out of their rhythm. And yeah, this isn't the game that I'm picking Indiana to punch up, I guess.
Oklahoma versus Texas.
Who the fuck's playing quarterback for Oklahoma?
I heard a rumor that it's John Mateer. Not sure if I believe it or not, but I guess we can do two previews. One, the assumption that he's playing, one that he's not. Go with the assumption that he is playing. Thoughts on this game?
I want to be honest with you. I think, well, even if he is playing, bro got his hand cut open. Are you going to be able to throw the ball?
Well,
and how far will you be able to throw it?
I don't know.
Here's what I'll say, and I'll let you. And I'm going to ask you. I've been in private conversations with Chris. I've been thinking out loud that Sark might be a little overrated.
Yeah.
I'm looking at Sark's records and I don't know, man. Sark gets a lot of crowning, but he hasn't done much. And he has all the resources. He has the second biggest brand, all the money, all the resources you could ever ask for. There's no excuse for Texas to be underperforming talent-wise on any position group. There's just no reason for that. And their offensive line is underperforming. And I don't think it's a coaching problem. I think they just aren't good enough. I guess the coaching mistake would be that they don't have good enough players.
Yeah.
The guys they have now they're just not playing well.
They have some unplayables.
So my thing is I think Sark needs to win this game. I think Texas is a more desperate team because if they lose, they're out. It's over. They would be eliminated. If Oklahoma loses without their guy, did they really lose?
No, they got an excuse, actually. Honestly, it's the best built-in excuse, and I think the smart play is not to play John because of that. Because if you don't play John and you lose this Texas game, your loss on your schedule, you get excused from, right? Because there's a human element to the committee. It's not just this is what you have to do to get in kind of deal.
Yeah, and, I think if Brett Venables and OU beat Texas without John Mateer or with a very limited John Mateer,
that's a huge black guy.
That's a really bad look for Sark.
Huge,
really bad,
guy, dude. What?
And I think Sark might know that, and I think he's going to have. If Sark is the play caller that we think he is, the offensive mind that we think he is, I think that Texas will do just enough to win this game. I
A
have
real.
Texas winning 17-14.
I agree. I think it could be wider than that because I think there is a real sense of urgency to right this ship, not just for the sake of, I guess, not just for the sake of this season, but I also think there's something to the Mannings trusting Sark over the course of some time. I
There's a
think what's not being talked about is the real possibility that if the Mannings are feeling the way about Arch as a lot of people are, or about Sark as a lot of people are, you're looking at Sark like, hey, what did you put on film for me this year to show me that this is the place for this kid to become a first round pick? Because that's why we sent him here. We sent him here because of Matt Leinart. You had Quinn Ewers, didn't do anything with him. And this year looks like a disaster with not just, I mean, look, if Arch isn't good enough, fine, so be it. But if he is going to lose draft stock and lose things because this offensive line is unplayable that you put out there, like, I need to see something. I need a game to point to. And I think this would do a lot in the bank of that world, if that makes, does that make sense, or am I out of left field?
No, I think you're right. I do. The only thing I would push back a little bit is I think both of these defenses are really good and these offenses aren't that great. I don't know if it can get uglier than that.
Well, I guess my standpoint is if you are Sark, you need to put good quarterback tape out there and like show progress that, like, look, this loss against Florida is not going to derail our season.
Yeah. I mean, because like from this point forward for Texas, every game is a playoff game. They have to win.
Everything's a playoff game.
Because Chris and I believe that if you lose 3 games, you lose the right to be a part of the playoff.
Bingo.
I'm not accepting a 3-loss national champion.
No.
You shouldn't get, at the very minimum, you shouldn't get to bitch and complain.
If you don't have double-digit regular season wins in a full season, like, I don't want to hear from you.
Like last year, we said Alabama, Ole Miss, you have no right to complain. I don't want to hear it.
Yeah. You want to lose 2 games? Cool. Don't lose to
Florida. Lane, don't lose to Kentucky.
Yeah. Don't lose.
DeBoer, don't lose to Vanderbilt.
Bingo.
Like if one of those 2 teams is 10-2, SMU doesn't get in.
Mm-mm.
So like it doesn't like so, you know, it's like, well, if Texas finishes 9-3, you know, don't lose to Florida when Florida's 7-5.
I mean, that's what Ole Miss did last year. People talk about the Kentucky loss. They also lost to Florida.
Yeah. So it's like I don't want to hear it.
No, I don't either. But I'm picking Texas in this game.
Yeah, I am too. I think they're going to be more desperate. I think Sark is under a lot of pressure. I think probably more internally than externally, you know, within the Texas realm. I don't see too many national people saying that Sark is, you know, under pressure. I feel
because Tyler, here's why. Back-to-back Final Fours.
Correct. But again, it's like, okay, when are you going to win? Like, when are you going to win a big one though? Like, when are you going to win like a real like a matchup game?
Well, here's the back-to-back Final Fours is louder than all of that.
Well, no, I agree. I don't think I'm not saying that. No. When I say that Sark's under pressure, I'm saying from a not from a firing standpoint.
No, I'm talking about public perception. Like, you don't want to be like James Franklin. Yeah, no, I'm with you.
Yeah. I'm saying from a perception of like
he made back-to-back Final Fours. So like,
yeah. But again, like last year they beat
Arizona State and Clemson.
Yeah. They lost to Ohio State. And last year they got beat by Georgia twice. Mm-hmm. And then they've gotten beat by Ohio State twice. So the games where they're like equal talent, equal brand, like they lose.
Yeah.
Like but at some point, Sark needs to win one of these games.
Like, also like, all right, what about Dan Lanning?
Well, Dan Lanning's hasn't been. I would say that Dan Lanning hasn't been doing it long enough to
feel the pressure.
Feel the pressure.
That's fair.
But like, and then the year before when they went to the 14 college football playoff, fucking Dylan Gabriel carved them up and beat them.
Yeah. But on the flip side, like Dan Lanning also lost twice that year to Washington, and
Yep.
he was favored in both games.
And I'll tell you what, if Oregon and Ohio State play each other again in Indianapolis, and Ryan Day, pats him on the head and said, "Good try, little buddy." Like people are gonna start saying a lot of things about Dan Lanning.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like, hey, but I think Sark is gonna be a very desperate football coach. I think Texas is gonna be a very desperate team, and I think they're gonna win the game. I think it's gonna be close. I think they win by a field goal. They still cover. So
yeah,
we'll see.
And then the last game I want to hit, USC -2.5 against Michigan.
This game, to me, is also an elimination game.
This is the most fascinating game of the weekend.
It really is. Like Indiana-Oregon is the best game. This is the most interesting game.
This is super fascinating.
Because for a couple reasons. I think Notre Dame's going to beat USC. I also believe that Ohio State's going to beat Michigan because I can't not believe that.
No, I don't even want to think about that game. But
right?
Yeah, I'm following you.
So this game, to me, is a de facto elimination game. Because both of these teams are going to end the year with at least 2 losses.
Mm-hmm.
These are completely opposite style teams.
Literally.
Couldn't be any different.
So opposite, dude. That's what makes it so fascinating. We're talking about polar opposites.
But speaking of coaches that need a win, how bad does Lincoln Riley need this game?
He's got it. I mean, him losing in Champaign made this game maybe the most important game of his time at USC, other than the Utah game that he lost to miss the playoffs.
Like, dude, this not that like Lincoln Riley's going to erase how people feel about him, because like we all believe that Lincoln Riley is an offensive coordinator cosplaying as a head coach.
Bingo.
However, dog, you got to win this game. You're at home. Michigan is flying across 2 time zones.
Mm-hmm.
Out to LA. They have a freshman quarterback. And people believe that, like, you got to believe that you're a better coach than Sherrone Moore, right?
You have to. Is USC going to go get their shit pushed back, though?
I am picking Michigan to win this game straight up.
Okay, this is the only game we differ on. I am picking USC.
I think Michigan wins 24-23. I think it's the most interesting game of the week. I think it'll be the most competitive game of the week.
Most likely to see a safety of the week.
I just think running the ball and defense travels. When you're traveling across time zones, those 2 things travel.
You gotta have those 2 things.
And like, sorry, my computer's about to plug my
I don't think it always travels, though. And my example is, I can't get the shit out of my head from last week, Tyler. Because what does Penn State have? Run game and defense. And boy, that shit did not travel. Defense never left state.
But the difference between Penn State and Michigan is I think Michigan knows exactly who they are. Their coaching staff.
Oh, no.
No, their coaching staff, Michigan's coaching staff knows exactly who the fuck they are.
All right. How can you say that with so much conviction, Tyler?
Because there's clearly a problem.
No. Whoa. There's
clearly an identity crisis because Andy Kolodnicki is calling offensive plays like he has Lamar Jackson.
I hear you. No, I hear you. But how can you say that with so much conviction? When's the last time Michigan played in a big game?
Well, they lost to Oklahoma.
And what were they out there doing?
Running bubble screens. You
cannot tell me that with 100% certainty that one team's having an identity crisis and the other one's not. When Michigan,
it's a fair point.
Michigan Wolverines went out there and ran bubble screens like they were 2021 Ohio State.
Here's what I'll say to combat you. Is I watched Michigan the last few weeks make the adjustment.
You watch them against Nebraska make the adjustment, and who was the head coach?
I hear you. I get it. I totally understand.
They were still trying to throw the ball last week. There was Michigan fans online calling Samaj Morgan a terrorist because they kept throwing him the football and he kept fumbling it. They were calling him Osama.
Listen, I think you're trying to like convince me to, and
No, I'm making a really compelling point because I'm not going to let them off the hook for that shit they did against Oklahoma. I got USC.
I think, honestly, bro,
that travel means something to me, man.
I think more than anything, I just don't believe in Lincoln Riley, bro.
That's what it is. I just wanted you to say it. You just don't believe in Lincoln.
I don't think about it, bro. Everything is in Lincoln Riley's favor.
So you know he's about to fuck it up.
It's at night. It's in LA. Michigan's coming from 2 time zones. He has everything going for him. He has his quarterback. He has a good enough defense, an average defense. They're not bad. They're just average. And, like, do you trust him?
Fuck no.
No.
Not a chance.
And at least I know. And here's why I can say about Michigan knowing who they are. Because I think Sherrone Moore, when he gets nervous, he'll just run the ball. He will. We've watched him
not nervous against Oklahoma, his alma mater. That's the most nerve-wracking game he's had.
No, I think he was very nervous against that Penn State game when they ran it every play.
That was 2 years ago.
I also think him having Bryce Underwood mess with him. Like, I gotta throw the ball with this kid. I gotta throw the ball with this kid.
Yeah, I think that's true.
And I think when it comes down to it, I believe Michigan coaches know who they are, and when the going gets tough, they're just gonna run the ball.
He's got to show.
And Justice Haynes will be the best player on the field on Saturday night.
Top 3 running back in the sport too. So,
it's just like, and this tastes like ass coming out my mouth, by the way, because I hate them, bro.
Yeah.
Everybody knows that when it comes to that hate, I'm filled with it. But when it comes to picking games, though, I'm trying to be right, dog. And Lincoln Riley ain't never made me right.
Ain't never. All right, run down the list just so we have one more time. You got Ohio State.
I got Ohio State covering. I have Bama covering. I have Oregon covering. I have Texas covering, and I have Michigan covering.
Boom. Heard it here first.
I'm 6 so far this year. I'm 16-10.
So he's having a good year. Over 500.
And I'm picking the spread. I'm not picking straight up.
Picking the spread, absolutely. That matters. No other show's picking the spread. They're picking straight ups. Tyler, that's all we got for today.
Perfect.
I'm Chris. That's Tyler.
Peace.
Peace. Good show, dude.